welcome to this beautiful spot in the sun. We're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to just get some mobility into the body. We're going to do a little bit of grounding, finding our feet. If you are in a garden, feel free to take your socks and shoes off. I'm going to just leave mine on for now. I might do that at the end. We're also then going to move a little bit into slightly stronger exercises that help us to really find the key muscles and the key movement patterns that we want to establish a little bit more often in our body. So we're just going to get going. I'm going to start off with some arm floats. So just really find your feet on the ground. Come a little bit more heavily into your heels, but let the mid part of your foot just really drop into the ground. Excuse me. Let your breath softly out. Let these low ribs drop. And when you're ready, bringing the arms all the way up. I'm just going to really enjoy the sun on my face here. And at the top, just think, okay, I'm going to breathe out, let those low ribs drop, and squeeze back a little bit more as I breathe in, as these upper ribs lift. And then coming down to the sides. Try and keep the feet nice and heavy and relaxed. So as soon as you start to feel the tension coming into your feet, just let them go heavy again. We're going to slowly let the spine unroll. Really feeling into that space at the back that you let it open up and accept the air a little bit more. Great. And then just take your feet a little bit wider and really let your body hang there. It's a really nice traction on the shoulders, on the neck. Slowly coming back up. Excuse me, I'm full of a cold. Okay. So one more time, bring the arms up. Nice and soft. You should really feel that little bit more space and everything moving a bit easier. You're going to hold them out on the horizontal. And now we're going to just let the knees soften and reach away. Reach away. So the palm side up, reaching away. The other side turning down. Like you're wringing out a towel through the length sideways of your body. Right. Okay, clasping your hands at the front there, and just soften through the back of your neck, soften through the back of the heart space between your shoulder blades. And you're just trying to see how far as you breathe out those shoulder blades can move forward on the rib cage without anything else having to change. All right, and then making a nice outline of a sphere or part of a sphere as you come up. How are those shoulder blades doing? Really letting them come back. And coming back down, slide back down, all the way around. Come right down to your tummy button or wherever your hands fall. Lovely. Okay. Give it a little shake off. Whew. Okay, I'm going to go side on to you. We're going to do the standing cat camel. So this movement is kind of that way and that way. Now what I want you to really focus on is the part of the spine that doesn't like that movement. So the upper back wants to do that and the lower back wants to do that. So if you put the opposite movement in, okay, so for this reason I call this boobs and butt. So kind of butt, and around the top. Boobs. And you don't have to accentuate the lower curve too much. Normally, most people have quite a bit of that anyway. Oh, hello. Hello. Yes. Very handsome. Okay, the cat's totally distracted me. Haven't you? Okay, and then just want you to take one leg back. So come up to standing, take one leg back, and turn the other side in towards the front leg just a little bit. So you're not turning your whole pelvis away. You're just going to turn a little bit and let this really lengthen at the back. So we're trying to stay fairly symmetrical. I'm going to slowly lengthen out this back leg. I'm going to keep my ribs dropped. Yes, I see you. Yes, I see you. I'm going to let my knee come forwards a little bit more. Right now, that's much more of a glute stretch than a calf stretch. Wow, it's warm. Isn't it? Wow, it's warm. Side, so I'm letting this leg turn in towards this one. I'm going to hold these left ribs down especially. So I'm really getting this combination of the knee moving forwards and the pelvis moving back to make this space at the back of the pelvis here. So this is a really good alternative to the figure 4 stretch to really get this level in here. And you can combine with this side because this left leg often doesn't really like to do too much adduction, internal rotation. So I'm going to press this knee into my hand and I'm going to keep myself true here, keeping this length in this bit. My low ribs drop to my arm reaching forward. And you can kind of see how much everything wants to fight. And coming back up. And that's, everything feels way opened out. Reset a little bit as I come up through that. Okay, I'm going to go on to right where I was going to be. I'll go here. So I'm going to do bear plank. Now I really love this because this totally fires up your core. Hello, sweetheart. Okay, so my feet are massively against the wall, and I want you to really hold that pressure and think about that heavy midfoot and a real presence of the heel against the wall. Let your low ribs come down. So your knees are under your hips. And this heel's against the wall and the whole foot and midfoot finding the wall and really feel like it's magnetized into it. Really get that core fired up a little bit more. You're breathing into your back, letting the low ribs drop in and back as you breathe out. Now you can turn this into a jump. Now I'm going to have to jump over the cat. and you don't have to do a jump. So 1, 2, 3. And just take a minute to really ground, really find that length. I'm going to do a little neck stretch, so that's just what feels really good. I'm keeping my chin in, so I'm not stretching here. I'm lengthening away, and I'm going to go this side. Ugh. Yeah. I'm going to need some gremlins in there. So I call this a butterfly stretch. Make like a butterfly, hold your collarbones down, drop and roll. Okay, and we're going to go in again. Hello, baby. Are you taking my place? There we go. Don't attack my feet, please. Okay, so we're going to turn this one now. This is going to go from the bear plank into a down dog. We're really going to find the pelvic floor and the lateral width of the pelvis as we do this. So really holding this position. Find your core, find your feet. And we're going to breathe in. Really breathing into the sides of the pelvis. Breathing out, think about the pelvic floor coming up. Let that come back down. Hold your bear. Going up again. Really let the whole pelvic bowl relax, breathing into the sides of the pelvis. Breathing out. Let the pelvic floor lift, ribs coming back. And you can slowly work and roll yourself out of this. Putting in just some very intuitive stretches just feel great to me today. Okay, so I'm going to do this next one side on to you, but again, it's usually better if you do this on a wall. So pretend that this bolster is my wall, and you want to have both feet on the wall, okay, and really get that whole foot pressure again. So you're a 90-90 here like this, both feet on the wall, okay, and really let your ribs be in a position. So like it's very natural, especially for women, to kind of have the rib cage slightly forward at the bottom. So just let those ribs come back a little bit so you're nice and neutral. Breathe out, anchor the rib cage. Feel the pelvic floor lift as you breathe out. Okay, you've got your heels. I'm going to just use here. I'm going to slide the top leg back. And then squeeze down, and you want to really feel the inside of your thigh here. If you feel it here, try taking your feet closer together first so that you're actually effectively a little bit of external rotation here, and you're finding your internal rotation from your externally rotated position. And then you can slowly creep the foot up. And you really want to feel a lot of pressure down, the whole thigh coming down. Because we're working with internal rotation and adduction, I think about the pelvis here having rolled forward a little bit. So this innominate rolling forward, as I've moved back, the femur rolls in, the calf rolls in, and find the inside of the foot on the wall, keeping the heel in midfoot, and then really squeezing down to get this adductor. Meanwhile, still holding my ribs, holding that nice soft breath. And I try and hold it for 2 or 3 breaths at the beginning, because that really gives that accentuated feeling of activating the muscle. And then you can relax and do like single reps. We want 10. So get the slide back, get the pelvis coming around, the femur. And you might well find you get a little bit of a stretch through here as well, because we're really expanding out the back here. Right. Okay. Come do the other side. I'm going to move my thing up, and then we're going to go into, I'm actually going to take this off because I'm roasting. I should have brought a tissue out. Okay, sorry. Going this way. So 90-90, feet on the wall, get that heel contact, that midfoot pressure. Okay, and then again, you're finding this as this slides back, you're letting the pelvis turn in a little bit, the femur, the calf, the foot, and it's the left foot will be more of a struggle to get all the pieces to work together, but it's absolute bang for your buck when you get this one. In one of my future videos, I'll show you also, and it's on my Vimeo, there's the adductor squeeze with foam roller reach, and I really love doing that. You get a lot of expansion into your back with that. You really get this anchoring of the rib cage. Hey, sweetheart. It would be better if I was on the wall, in actual fact, because I really want my foot to be relaxed with this. Good. One more and we're at 10. Okay, and then we're going to do, on this side, we're going to do glute clams. So I want your knees quite far back and your elbow forward. So effectively your elbow and your knee are kind of like in a straight line. Lift your ribs, and as you come up, you're going to be in a straight line here. So you want to be there, okay? Now, the top leg goes into a clam, but that's not the important bit. The important bit is this bottom part, and I want you to really get this pushing forward, because if you're back here, you're kind of only doing half the movement, and you really want this finish position. And I'm keeping this activation on my shoulder blade coming down my back so that I'm not just sliding up with my shoulder. I'm really keeping my lats working for me. Okay, I'm gonna put this back to the other end. Let's take some space. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my knees back a little bit, go my elbow forward. Now this side in particular, I really want to keep this connection through here, okay? This is where the biggest cheat is losing this and not really getting my terminal extension at the hip. So I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna really make sure this is doing its job. I'm gonna really make sure this is doing its job. Breathing out to anchor all of that. Okay. Right, this is where the bolster comes in really handy, because we're going to do the Nordic bear. Now, if you're in the gym doing this ever, and they've got sandbags, it's a really helpful thing to use, because the weight of it means that, and probably the heavier the better, then you know, within reason. Like maybe a 10 kg sandbag, because it just holds position a lot more. So we're gonna come down, palms up, ribs in and back, down the bottom of those ribs. Okay, and I'm gonna let this, I'm gonna really round my pelvis down onto the foam roller and squeeze with my heels. Beautiful. Okay, and I'm gonna do the wonky bear, okay? So just to really get that accentuation of this side coming back, finding the inside a little bit, I'm gonna come down onto this elbow and have this arm further away. So effectively, this hand is pushing me back to this knee. Hi, sweetheart. If it feels a lot on your shoulder, you can bring it back a little bit. If it feels too much, then bring both elbows down and just focus on the legs part. Okay, and now I'm going to do my Nordic bear again. Excuse me, sniffing. I'm going to run in and get a tissue in just a sec. Oh, I brought it out with me. Really rounding the pelvis down to meet that foam roller, pushing up with my shoulder blades kind of coming down towards my elbows, my sternum coming back, but I'm not like dropping, I'm not rounding too much here. Oh, I'm so sorry. Squeezing with the heels. And a bit like in bear plank, you really end up feeling this working your core muscles. Great, take a break, and then I want you guys to do it again for another 8 breaths. Drawback of recording with a cold. Fantastic. Okay, so we're actually going to go into a standing position now. Where did the cat go? So I just want you to roll up one side of your mat a little bit and make yourself a little raised platform. So with your heels, you're going to be able to, I'm going to roll mine a little bit more. I like mine a little bit higher. I'm going to take my block, okay, and I'm really just looking to find that inside line where I'm anchoring down again through the midfoot, finding the adductor and the internal rotation. This is where we do a real squat that is more squatty than hinge. So a hinge squat is like that, where we move our hips, but a squatty squat is where we move our knees. So I want you to really find this shape in your rib cage. Breathing out. And with this, then you're thinking about there being a balloon on the inside of your rib cage here. And as you breathe out, it's blowing the air out the balloon through your mouth and pulling. The balloon coming in is drawing these ribs in and back, and that's the feeling you want to get. And it ends up working these oblique muscles. Okay, so I'm here, and we're going to start to move. All right, there's my position at the moment. I'm just going to hold here and breathe. My left foot really doesn't want to take any of the load, so I'm going to make it work a little bit harder and move my left foot a bit further back than my right so that there's a bit more accentuation in that position. So I get this length and I get all of this working. Now I could go all the way to the ground, but I would probably be losing that focus that I want to keep, okay? And I'd probably come a little bit onto the outsides of my feet. So I'm not going to let myself do that. I'm going to stay really strict with it and only move in the range that I've got, okay? You can start off with a wider block. So I sometimes use this in another half a one, and that just gives me a little bit more of a fairly neutral stance, but finding my activation in that neutral stance rather than going super narrow. So this is actually too wide. Sometimes a foam roller is a good option. I'm going to stay with that just now. I'll just work at a higher level. This is where I'm really focusing on getting this internal rotation through here, internal rotation through here, letting my feet get involved as well, and letting the back expand right from here to here. It's really hard to work on your thighs. Oh, okay. Great. So a little bit for maybe all of us to work on. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of Kang squats. Now you can use a weight for this. So I'm going to step to the side. This knee is going to bend and stay pretty much in line. Okay, I'm just going to not use that for a minute so you can see. I'm going to stay to one side. I'm going to do 8 here. And I'm again keeping that weight into the back of my foot and the middle of my foot. And essentially I'm relatively internally rotated here, so I'm letting this leg kind of direct that for me, pushing me a little bit like into that rotation as I come down so that I can really get this length through the back. And sometimes this is a really nice way to get that initial posterior expansion. So we're there, we make this inside bit do the work. Okay, I'm going to swap legs. Okay, and I'm just going to find this for a minute. This foot doesn't want to do this. You can see how much I want to be in my toes. This is where I want to live all the time on this foot. I'm really going to let myself not go so low. Stay in my heel and my midfoot. Find the shape I want in my rib cage. And just take my time, especially because my breathing's quite labored. Whew. Yesterday, I was on the sofa, so full of snot and everything. And I kind of felt chesty when I woke up this morning. And I really felt a shift in my energy about 8 o'clock. And I was like, no, I think some movement and some sunshine would do me a lot of good. And I mean, it will for sure. And you have to know where your line is and what's right for you on the day. I need to do a little bit of left foot work. Okay, and now I'm really going to make my left foot work. So this is actually perfectly placed for me in this program. So I'm going to do the 4-foot elevated on the block, quite a narrow stance, split squat. So where I'm coming from here, I'm getting that relative internal rotation here, pushing this hip ever so slightly forward towards that knee, keeping my shape here and here, and slowly making like 75–80% of my weight really be on this front foot. Making it as heavy as I can, really, especially as I come up. I'm gonna do 5. Amazing. Okay, other side. So it's better that your heel is on the block than your toes. Your toes can be slightly off the block, so quite often we grip. Ground's a little bit more unstable for me on this side. Right. So the message that I always play in my head when I do anything like this, where the feet really have to accept the ground, or as the dancer, Hara said, invest in the contact with the ground. I love that so much. He's not, I can't remember, Israeli. And I think of this as floor is not lava. Okay, one more on this side. Oh, so good. Okay, we're gonna go into a little down dog, up dog, just for 3. And then we're gonna do just a relaxing at the end, okay? So start off in a kind of bear. Okay, like a long bear. Lead with your hips, don't lose your ribs. So this is different than like a yoga down dog. And then I want you to like let your elbows fold in and really control. Breathing in, let that lift those upper ribs, make your legs super strong, make the center of your body super strong. Soften your knees, get your pelvis under, get your long bear. Your pelvis, keep your ribs. And then coming forward, let your elbows bend. Shoulder blades down your back, keep your ribs. Strong legs, strong center, really navigating this shift of position in the pelvis, the hips, the ribs, the spine as you come back into your long bear. Last one. Leading with the hips, Ribs engaged. Coming forward. Find those elbows. Oh, I didn't go very low. Knees down. Find your child's pose. Just wriggle out a little bit. Let everything soften and move and find a little bit of rhythm for a sec. This is like a kneeling Tai Chi sway, where we're just letting a kind of side to side movement, like we're on a ship or a boat in an excited sea. Great. And come and lie on your back. Legs flat. And just let everything go. Really feel that contact with the ground. Although that was quite hard work for me, it was really good to get the air